San Nicolás was not always a place of cracked earth and empty wells. 20 years ago, the hills rang with children's laughter, and the river that curled around the village like a silver ribbon never ran dry. Corn grew tall, beans climbed green vines, and every Sunday after Mass, the plaza filled with music, guitars, accordions, and the sweet smell of pan dulce fresh from Doña Rosa's oven. But seasons turn. The river shrank to a trickle, then a line of damp mud, then nothing. The sky, once generous with afternoon showers, turned cruel and cloudless. Wells that had served generations collapsed inward, swallowing buckets and hope. José remembered better days. He was only 10 when his father taught him to plant by the moon's cycle. "The earth listens," his father said, pressing a seed into José's small palm. "Treat her with respect, and she'll feed you forever." Now at 28, José's hands were calloused, his back bent from failed harvests. His wife Maria once laughed easily. Now her smiles were rationed like water. Their adobe house, 2 rooms, a tin roof, a single wooden door, leaked dust through every crack. Every morning José walked the fields with a hoe he no longer believed in. The soil was powder. Even the cacti looked thirsty. He'd kneel, press his ear to the ground, and whisper, "Please, just a little rain." But the earth stayed silent. The meeting was held under the ancient ceiba tree at Don Tomas's ranch. 30 men and women stood in a circle, faces etched with sun and worry. Don Tomas, the oldest, leaned on a carved wooden cane. His voice cracked like dry leather. "We write to the mayor," he said. "We beg for a well, a deep one, for all of us." Hands shot up in agreement. Someone produced paper, a stubby pencil. Words were chosen carefully, not too proud, not too desperate. They described cracked lips, dying livestock, children with hollow eyes. They begged. But then, silence. "Who will take it?" asked Lucia, the school teacher. "San Jacinto is 3 days on foot. The road cuts through bandit country." Eyes darted, excuses followed. "My knees. My wife is sick. I have no donkey." Then all eyes settled on José. He felt the weight like a stone on his chest. He was the youngest, the poorest, the one with the least to lose and everything to gain. "We'll pay you," Don Tomás said, producing a small pouch. Coins clinked, 10 pesos, maybe 12, and if help comes, more. José looked at Maria. She stood at the edge of the circle, arms crossed tight. Her eyes said, "We need this." Her silence said, "I'm terrified." He swallowed. "I'll go." Dawn painted the sky rose and gold. The village gathered to watch José leave. Children clutched their mothers' skirts. Old women crossed themselves. Maria pressed a small bundle into his hands, 2 tortillas, a strip of dried beef, a clay jug of water. "Don't drink it all at once," she whispered, "and come back." José kissed her forehead. The donkey, Burrito, flicked his ears, sensing the tension. José climbed on, the letter sealed in a cloth pouch against his chest. As he rode away, the village shrank behind him. The ceiba tree became a toy, the church steeple a needle, then nothing but dust and sky. The first day was bearable. The sun was kind. José sang old corridos to keep Burrito moving. He passed abandoned farms, roofs caved in, doors hanging like broken jaws. Once he saw a coyote drag a lamb's carcass into the brush. The circle of life, but crueler now. By noon, the heat shimmered. José rationed sips of water. His tongue felt like leather. He thought of Maria's hands kneading masa, of the way she hummed while sweeping the dirt floor. He rode faster. Night fell sudden and complete. No moon. José lit a small fire with twigs, but the darkness pressed close. He heard things, scratches, distant howls, a sound like a woman crying. He told himself it was wind. Around midnight, he reached the ancient tree. Its trunk was thick as 3 men, roots sprawling like veins. He tied Burrito, sat on a flat rock, and unwrapped his bread. It tasted like sawdust, but he chewed slowly. Then the wind rose, cold, unnatural, the fire guttered. Footsteps, slow, deliberate, crunched on gravel. José's hand went to the machete at his belt. A figure emerged from the dark. He was tall, thin, dressed in black. A wide-brimmed hat shadowed his face. His coat hung loose, as if he'd once been heavier. He stood 10 feet away, hands at his sides. "Good evening, young traveler," he said. His voice was soft, but it carried like a church bell. José's mouth went dry. "Good evening, sir. Where are you bound?" "San Jacinto. I carry a letter for the mayor." The old man tilted his head. "From San Nicolás." José nodded, surprised. "Then listen well," the stranger said. "Do not sleep here. If you do, you will not see morning." José's heart hammered. "Why?" "Men wait down the path. 2, maybe 3. They have guns. They take everything, money, donkey, life. I've seen it." José glanced at Burrito. The animal's ears twitched nervously. "There's another way," the old man continued. "East, follow the big stones, longer but safe, go now." José stood slowly. "Thank you, but who are you? Why are you here alone?" The old man's eyes glinted in the firelight. "Some questions have no answers that help. Go." José didn't argue. He untied Burrito, climbed on, and took the eastern trail. As he left, he looked back. The old man hadn't moved. He stood like a statue, swallowed by shadow. The new path climbed steeply. Rocks scraped José's sandals. Burrito stumbled. José's legs burned, but fear kept him moving. After an hour, he reached a ridge. He stopped to breathe and looked back. Far below, exactly where he'd planned to camp, a fire burned. 2 men sat beside it. One cleaned a rifle, the other sharpened a knife. Their laughter carried on the wind, rough, drunken. José's knees buckled. He whispered a prayer of thanks to the stranger, if not for him. He rode on. The image of those men burned into his mind. Dawn found José at the edge of San Jacinto. The town was bigger than he'd imagined, whitewashed buildings, a plaza with a fountain, even a small market. People stared at the dusty farmer on his tired donkey. He asked directions to the municipio. A kind woman pointed. Past the church, left at the bakery. The mayor's office was cool and dim. A clerk took the letter, read it, frowned. "We'll send engineers, 2 weeks." José wanted to cry, 2 weeks, but it was hope. He spent the day in a cheap pension. He bought a bowl of pozole, the first hot food in days. He slept on a real mattress, dreaming of rain. He left before sunrise. The road home felt shorter, but heavier. He carried the mayor's sealed reply, proof the village would be saved. Near dusk, on the final stretch, the old man appeared again. José reined in Burrito. "Sir." The stranger stood in the path, unchanged. "You returned safely." "Thanks to you," José said. "Those men, I saw them. You saved my life." "Let me repay you." The old man's face softened. "There is a way. In San Nicolás, go to the cemetery, find the grave of Ernesto Garcia. For 9 nights, light 3 candles, pray for his soul, ask nothing for yourself. When you finish, a reward." José frowned. "A grave, why?" "Some debts can only be paid in prayer," the old man said. "Do this, and poverty will lift from your house." José wanted to refuse, but he thought of Maria's thin wrists, of the empty cradle they couldn't fill. "I'll do it." The old man nodded and vanished. Back home, Maria wept with joy. The village celebrated José like a hero. Children followed him, begging to hear about the bandits. But at night, José went to the cemetery. The first night the gate creaked. Wind rattled the crosses. He found the grave, a simple stone, moss-covered, Ernesto Garcia, 1910–1968. He lit 3 candles, knelt, prayed. "Señor, if you're listening, give peace to this soul. I ask nothing for me." The wind died. The candles burned steady. Night 2, 3, 4, same ritual. Each time the grave looked cleaner. Flowers appeared, wild marigolds no one planted. The air grew less heavy. On night 6, an old woman watched from the shadows. "You're praying for Ernesto," she whispered. "He was my uncle, died alone, thank you." José nodded, throat tight. The final night, a storm brewed, thunder rolled. José arrived soaked. He lit the candles. The flames danced wildly. Then a shimmer in the air. The old man stepped from the darkness, solid as life. José fell to his knees. "Thank you," the ghost said. "My name was Ernesto Garcia. I died lost, unforgiven. My spirit wandered. You gave me peace." Jose couldn't speak. Ernesto continued, now my promise. Beneath the old oak on Cerro Verde, dig 3 feet down, you'll find a tin box. Gold coins enough for a well, a home, a future. But listen, use the gold only for your family's needs. Never give it away. Share water, food, crops, but not the treasure. Break this, and it vanishes. Ernesto smiled, warm, human. Go now, live well. He dissolved like mist. Jose dug at dawn. The oak's roots guarded the spot. 3 feet down, a rusted tin. Inside, gold coins, dull with age but real, enough to change everything. He told no one, not even Maria, not yet. Jose hired engineers. The well was dug deep, lined with stone. Water rose clear and cold. The village danced. Children splashed. Goats drank. Corn sprouted within weeks. Jose built a small house, 2 bedrooms, a porch. He bought seed, tools, a new donkey, but he never touched the gold for show. He shared harvests, taught neighbors to dig trenches, gave water freely. Years passed. San Nicolás became a green jewel. Tourists came for the story of the ghost who saved the village. Jose told it humbly, always ending with, Ernesto didn't ask for glory, he asked for prayer. And he taught me, true wealth is shared freely, but some gifts are meant to be guarded. Every Sunday, Jose visited the grave, 3 candles, a quiet prayer. And somewhere in the peace beyond, Ernesto Garcia smiled. Time has a way of softening edges. The cracked earth of San Nicolás became a memory told to wide-eyed grandchildren. The well, now called Pozo de la Esperanza, the Well of Hope, stood in the plaza, its stone rim worn smooth by generations of hands. A bronze plaque read, in memory of José Morales and the soul who guided him. José was no longer the skinny young farmer with hungry eyes. At 45, his hair had silver threads, his shoulders broad from honest work. Maria's laughter filled their home again, a real house now, with painted walls, a garden of roses, and a cradle that finally held a child. Little Anna, born the year the rains returned, had her mother's smile and her father's stubborn hope. The village thrived. Cornfields stretched golden to the horizon. Goats grazed on green hills. Every Sunday, the church bells rang, and the plaza smelled of tamales and fresh café de olla. Travelers stopped to drink from the well and hear the legend of the ghost who saved a village with 9 nights of prayer. Jose never told the full truth about the gold. He let people believe the mayor had sent money. Only Maria knew, and she kept the secret like a second wedding vow. Every weekend, Jose still walked to the cemetery. The path was worn smooth by his boots. Ernesto's grave was no longer forgotten. Fresh marigolds bloomed year-round. Children left drawings. Old women left pan de muerto on Dia de los Muertos. Jose would light 3 candles, kneel and whisper, "Thank you, amigo, your soul rests, mine is full." Then he'd sit a while, listening to the wind in the cypress trees, feeling watched, not in a scary way, more like a friend leaning over his shoulder. The drought returns. But even miracles have limits. 20 years after the well was dug, the sky turned cruel again, not a drop of rain for 6 months. The river shrank. The well, deep as it was, began to gasp. Buckets came up with less and less. The corn withered. Goats grew thin. Children stopped playing in the plaza. The village gathered under the cyber tree, now older, its roots thicker. Don Tomás had passed years ago. His son, Tomás Jr., spoke for the elders. "We need another well," he said, "deeper, the old one can't keep up." Jose stood silent. His gold was long gone, spent wisely on the first well, their home, Anna's schooling. He had nothing left to give but sweat and prayer. That night he went to the cemetery alone. The moon was a thin blade. He lit 3 candles. The flames burned steady despite the wind. "Ernesto," he said aloud, voice cracking, "I know you're at peace. I'm not asking for me, but the children, they're scared. The village is dying again. If there's anything left, any sign." He waited. Nothing, just crickets and the smell of dry earth. Jose bowed his head. "I'll keep praying, 9 more nights like before." The 9 nights return. He began the ritual again. Every night he walked to the grave, 3 candles, the same prayer. For the soul of Ernesto Garcia, for the village, for the children. Maria joined him on the third night. Anna, now 10, came on the fifth. Soon others followed. Lucia the teacher, Tomás Jr., even the new priest, Father Miguel, who'd heard the legend but never believed it. By the seventh night, the cemetery glowed with dozens of candles. People brought flowers, food, photos of loved ones. The grave of Ernesto Garcia became a shrine. On the ninth night, a storm gathered. Black clouds rolled in from the west. Thunder growled like a waking giant. The villagers stood shoulder to shoulder, candles flickering in the wind. José knelt, lit the 3 candles, and then the air shimmered. Ernesto appeared. Not as a ghost this time, not pale or floating. He looked solid, younger. His coat was new, his hat tilted just so. He smiled like a man who'd come home. The crowd gasped. Some fell to their knees. Anna hid behind Maria's skirt. "José," Ernesto said. Voice warm as fresh bread. "You kept your promise. All these years, you shared water, you shared hope, you never broke the rule." José's eyes filled. "The village, it's dying again." Ernesto shook his head. "No, it's remembering." He pointed to the sky. "Look." Lightning cracked. Rain, thick, heavy, impossible, began to fall. Not a sprinkle, a deluge. It hammered the ground, filled the dry riverbed, turned dust to mud in seconds. People screamed with joy, children danced, old men wept. Anna laughed so hard she fell in a puddle. But Ernesto wasn't done. He stepped closer to José. One last gift, not gold this time, something better. He pressed something into José's hand, a seed. Small, smooth, glowing faintly like a firefly. "Plant this at the well," Ernesto said. "It's from the tree where you first met me. It will grow fast. Its roots will find water no drill can reach. It will feed the village forever." José stared at the seed, then at Ernesto. "Why me? Why us?" Ernesto's eyes softened. "Because you listened, you prayed without asking, you shared without counting. That's rarer than gold." He turned to the crowd. "All of you remember this night. When you help each other, the dead help you back." Then he looked at Anna. "Little one, come here." Anna hesitated, then stepped forward. Ernesto knelt, eye to eye. "Never forget," he said. "Kindness is a seed, planted everywhere." He touched her forehead. A spark of light passed between them. Anna gasped, then smiled, as if she'd seen a secret. Ernesto stood. "My time here is done. The door is closed, but I'll be in the rain, in the water, in the tree." He stepped back. The rain swallowed him. The candles burned brighter for a heartbeat, then went out one by one. The tree of life. The next morning, José planted the seed at the well's edge. Within 3 days, a shoot broke the soil. In a week, it was a sapling. In a month, a tree tall, broad, with silver-green leaves that shimmered like water. Its roots found an underground river no one knew existed. The well overflowed. The old river roared back to life. Crops exploded. Fish returned. San Nicolás became a paradise. They named the tree Árbol de Ernesto. Children played in its shade. Lovers carved hearts in its bark. Every year, on the anniversary of the 9th night rain, the village held a festival, music, dancing, mole, and a moment of silence for the soul who saved them twice. José's final visit. José lived to 80. His hair turned snow-white. Anna grew up, became a teacher, and told the story to her own students. Maria passed gently in her sleep, holding José's hand. On his last day, José walked to the cemetery alone. The path was lined with flowers. He carried 3 candles, as always. He lit them, knelt, and spoke his final prayer. "Ernesto, my friend, the village lives, the tree grows, the children laugh. Thank you. If you're listening, I'm coming soon. Save me a spot under the tree." He closed his eyes, smiled. That night, the village woke to a soft rain, warm, gentle, smelling of oranges. The Árbol de Ernesto glowed faintly, as if lit from within. And in the morning, José was gone, found sitting against the grave, peaceful, a smile on his face. In his hand, a single silver-green leaf. They buried him beside Ernesto, two friends side by side. The legend lives. Years later, travelers still come. They drink from the well, sit under the tree, and if they listen closely, especially on quiet nights when the rain falls soft, they hear two voices in the wind. Share the water, plant the seed, and the village of San Nicolás never thirsts again. The night before his departure, José couldn't sleep. The tin roof creaked under the wind. Maria lay beside him, breathing slow, but he knew she was awake too. He slipped outside. The sky was full of stars, sharp, cold, like nails in black wood. He walked to the dry riverbed, sat on a stone, and stared at the empty channel where water once sang. Then a dream, not sleep, a vision. He saw himself as a boy, running through green corn, laughing. His father lifted him high. "The river will always return," his father said, "just like hope." Then the scene changed. He was old, grey, sitting under a giant tree. Children played around him. A little girl, Anna, handed him a cup of water. "From the well you built, abuelo." But then the sky cracked open. Black clouds, no rain, the tree withered. The children cried. José woke with a gasp. The stars hadn't moved, but his shirt was soaked with sweat. He went back inside. Maria was sitting up, eyes wide. "I had a dream," she whispered. "You were riding through fire, but a man in a black hat pulled you out." José's blood ran cold. "I'm scared," he admitted, the first time in years. Maria took his hand. "Then take this." She pressed a small wooden cross into his palm. "My mother gave it to me when I was born. It's been through floods, bandits, fever. It always brought me home." José kissed her. "I'll come back for you, for the river, for the dream." He tucked the cross into his shirt, right over his heart. The sun was high when José stopped to rest. Burrito, the little grey donkey, stood panting under a mesquite tree. José poured a capful of water into his hat and let the donkey drink. "You're a good friend," José said, scratching behind Burrito's ears. "We've carried firewood, sick children, even Doña Rosa's wedding trunk together. Now we carry hope." Burrito brayed, a low musical sound, almost like a song. José laughed. "You think we'll make it?" Burrito nudged him, then looked down the road. José followed his gaze. In the distance, a dust cloud, riders, bandits. He froze. But the cloud passed, just wind. Still, José felt watched. He opened his morral, took out the last tortilla, and tore it in half. He ate one piece, gave the other to Burrito. "From now on," he said, "we share everything, no man left behind." Burrito chewed slowly, then rested his head on José's shoulder, a donkey hug. José smiled. "Let's go, amigo, the mare's waiting." The eastern path was narrow, rocky, full of shadows. José's legs ached. The moon was hidden. Only starlight guided him. Then a flicker, white cloth in the bushes. He stopped. "Quién está ahí?" A woman stepped out, young, barefoot, dressed in a white nightgown, torn and dirty. Her eyes were huge, frightened. "Please," she whispered, "help me." José dismounted. "Señorita, what are you doing here? It's dangerous." "I was taken," she said, voice shaking. "3 men. They kept me in a cave. I escaped when they drank, but I don't know the way home." José's stomach twisted. "The bandits, the same ones." He gave her his jacket. "My donkey can carry you. We'll go together." But she backed away. "No, you must go alone. They're coming." She pointed behind her. Torchlight flickered in the hills. "Go," she hissed. "East, follow the stones, don't stop." José wanted to argue, but her fear was real. He climbed back on Burrito. "Thank you," he called. She smiled, sad, knowing. "Tell my mother I tried." Then she vanished into the night. José rode hard. Hours later, from the ridge, he saw the fire, the same 2 men. But now, a third figure lay tied near the flames, a woman in white. His heart broke. He couldn't save her, but she had saved him. The clerk in the mayor's office was old, slow, and kind. He read the letter aloud. His voice cracked at children with hollow eyes. The mayor, a fat man with a gold watch, sighed. "We are broke. the city needs pipes, but I remember San Nicolás. My grandmother was born there. He wrote a reply on official paper, sealed it with red wax. But listen, he told José, even if we send help, it'll take months. You need water now. José nodded. We have faith. The mayor hesitated, then opened a drawer, took out a small silver flask. Agua bendita, he said. From the cathedral, not much, but pour it in your well when you return. Tell your people, God sees the thirsty. José took the flask like it was gold. Gracias, señor. That night in the pension, he wrote a letter of his own, on a scrap of paper, with a borrowed pencil. Maria, I am safe, the mayor will help, I carry holy water. I met a ghost, I met a girl who may be dead. I am scared, but I am coming home. Wait for me, under the cyber tree. José. He gave it to a caravan heading west. For Maria Morales, San Nicolás. The fourth night, José arrived at the cemetery and found a surprise. A little boy, no older than 7, sat by Ernesto's grave. He was lighting matches, trying to start a candle. José knelt. Mijo, what are you doing here? It's late. The boy, Pedro, son of the baker, looked up. I saw him. Saw who? The old man in the black hat. He was standing here. He told me, tell José, keep praying, the water is coming. José's skin prickled. When? Last night I couldn't sleep. I followed the light. He was glowing, but not scary like Abuelo. José hugged the boy. Go home, tell no one, but thank you. Pedro ran off. That night José prayed harder than ever, and for the first time he felt Ernesto listening.